All right, welcome back. It's the morning show here on the Rise News. I'm Rufai Hosseini.
And I'm Mercy Ajishafe.
Unemployment in Nigeria has constantly been on a scary swing, and I can tell you that. Recently, for a role of 3,200 personnel of the customs, over 500,000 people did apply for this role. Meanwhile, the federal government of Nigeria has raised an alarm that the country's unemployment rate would reach 33.5% by 2020. According to the Minister of Labour and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, the high unemployment rate of 23.1% and underemployment rate of 16.6% by the National Bureau of Statistics NBS 2019 report was worrisome. So joining us to discuss this and more is a recruitment expert, Mrs. Folayemi Olaitan. Welcome to the morning show. Great to have you.
Good morning, Rufai. Thank you so much for having me here.
And it's a pleasure having you. Let's just start from there.
Good morning, and it's such a pleasure to have you on the show, Folayemi. You look gorgeous.
Thank you.
Let's just start from here. We all remember the recruitment exercise of the immigration a couple of years ago.
Yes.
That led to the death of so many people.
Yes.
There was a public outcry.
Yes.
And it looks as though when there's a public outcry, we're so quick to forget. And we have forgotten about that. Now, Customs put out this need for 3,200 personnel. Over 500,000 people applied.
I'm not surprised.
What is happening? Some say, and quoting the president, in some quarters, there's been a little controversy of that, that the Nigerian youths are just lazy, they're not ready for it, they're not ready to take the bull by the horn. Some say that the economy is not viable, we're growing at a very, very slow rate, when you start to juxtapose that with the population rate. So the economy can't be viable. What is the problem? You've been a recruitment expert for over 25 years. What is the problem?
Looking at it from outside, which is always the best way, because when you look from outside, you can see what's going on inside.
Yes.
Looking at it from outside in Nigeria, I think one of the major problems is our educational system, number one. I think we've sold a lie to the whole Nigerians, saying to them that you must go to university, you must have tertiary education.
I have to clap for you right now.
So we have everybody, no matter what strata of life they're from, sending their children, putting everything in them for their children to go to universities. And what then happens is that they get to universities at all costs and they compromise.
Yep.
So they compromise, the universities themselves compromise. So the standards are brought down, but people say, whatever the price is, as far as I have a university certificate. Because we've sold them a lie, saying that it's that university certificate that will make you successful. And it's not true. It is not true.
We've sold them a Western lie. It's not even just a lie, it's a Western lie that we've emulated. And it's just, anyway, as you were, please.
And then what happens is we've then diverted a huge amount of people from vocational trainings. So we've got people who have left the farms, we've got people who have left training as carpenters, we've got people training in specific vocational skills. We've got them diverted away from there and concentrating on getting these degrees. Now we have a lot of students turned out, graduates with degrees who are not even well trained.
When you say not even well trained, in what facet? What do you mean by that, please?
Okay. Now, if we're looking at you going into employment, employers are generally looking for people who have fantastic
soft
employability
skills and hard skills.
Yes.
So
now we've got them in there cramming all sorts of things, and they come up with this certificate, and they can hardly write, they can hardly communicate. So they can't effectively communicate, they can't work well in teams, they can't think outside the box.
Okay.
Which employer really wants that?
None. Not one.
Every single employer wants somebody who hits the ground running when they come, and somebody who can think outside the box. So if we are just training people to understand theory in our universities, we're wasting our time. We have to implement employability skills in this training. And I would
suggest... You're blowing my mind right now, Folayemi, because what I want to understand is what you're saying right now, that this high rate of unemployment in Nigeria, which currently stands at 23.1%, which has been tipped ahead to what is it meant to be? 33%, which is incredible. What you're saying is that it's not necessarily a lack of jobs, but you're saying it's lack of skilled labour. You're saying it's the labour force themselves. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, there's something about the labour force that we need to re-engineer. We need to change. I would rather employ someone who has WAEC GCSE, either IGCSEs, WAEC O levels, but can do. Because I can train and develop that person than somebody who comes from one of our so-called universities at the moment and can't do anything.
Okay, let me come in there. There's something called the Matthews effect.
Okay.
That the top echelon of society gets everything more than the second echelon or the lower echelon. It's called the Matthews effect. So let's put it this way. Don't you think that employers have gone to the bandwagon of the Matthews effect? Now, let me tell you the Matthews effect. This is the Matthews effect. Masters from an overseas university, no matter what the university, even if it's not in the Russell group, as long as the masters from a UK, Canada, or a foreign institution, you get a viable chance. And that person might not really be able to measure up. Unrealistic expectation, the Matthews effect of you must have 4 or 5 years work experience for somebody that is just getting out of university. So it's so quick for us to say this. But aren't the employers of labour being caught in this Matthews effect?
I don't think so. And I would explain why I don't think so to you. One of the reasons why employers are now specifically looking at people who have maybe foreign university degrees is not just because of the degree. It's actually because of the exposure to what we call employability skills. It is ingrained in the course that you would be able to present to people, that you would be able to speak to people, you would be able to think outside the box, critically thinking outside the box. That is part of basic training that is given in any institution outside Nigeria. Now, on saying that, there are 2 institutions at the moment. I'm not going to mention their names so it doesn't look like I'm trying to promote them or something. But these 2 universities, they're Nigerian universities, they're private universities. Anytime we receive CVs or applications from students from that university, we're always impressed. So we get the CV, yes. There are 2 specific universities.
Oh, you're going to have to whisper the names to us afterwards.
There are 2 specific universities. We're always impressed. When they come for the interviews, we're always impressed. So they deliver. So they're doing something right in these 2 private universities.
Isn't that scary if it's only 2 private universities
incredibly scary.
Out of close to 100 or over 100 universities?
I want to tell you something about those universities.
Please, tell us.
You know, I'm of the background when Nigeria had 12 states. And suddenly now we increased it to 19, to 30, to 36. And then with that, we increased all the universities because every single state had to have a university, right?
Of course.
What that did for us
Standards
was watered
dropped.
down, we watered down the standard of education.
Wow.
So during the time that I went to school in Nigeria, you had the Insukas, you had the Ife, you had the Ibadans, you had all these great universities, and the standards were very high. In fact, when you went with any of these degrees abroad, they respected you.
What would you call high standard?
The delivery of the lectures, the learning, the teaching approach, the learning approach, they were not just being taught words.
Is this not incumbent on funding of the universities?
Of course, it's part of it.
So who majorly does the funding?
The government. But, let's not just put it on the government. What about these educators that we have who have gone into education and say, I want to be a lecturer, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a professor? Where's the passion for training and ensuring that learning takes place and that your students actually take across that learning and implement it?
But what's the viable career path for the educators? And I'll give you an instance.
Okay.
A lot of us keep touting the Finnish model.
Okay.
The model from Finland.
Yes.
Okay.
But do you know that if you are a primary school teacher in Finland,
Yes.
you are a primary school teacher for life?
Yes.
But majority of the primary school teachers in Nigeria are primary school teachers because they probably apply to an oil and gas company and the employment hasn't come through yet. The moment that comes in, that goes out of the window.
So
how
essentially
can
you're saying the same thing
so
because
why don't you
teaching is a
educate them?
vocation, teaching is
Yes.
a passion. You have to want to
You
lead
need to
and
have
teach
passion.
the next generation.
Passion
The
where there's no
challenge is-
money? Let's be practical.
I mean, it's like the
wait.
police.
I mean, how many,
system,
how many educators, because we're talking about...
I am
not
an
only-
educator.
How many educators break even, really, in this country, and they have it as a career
Wait.
in the general lot?
Wait. Let's hold on 1 second. Now, one of the key things that I've found with the education system in Nigeria that we need to address is the entry qualification of those going into so-called colleges of education to study education. Now, JAM, if you're listening, I know it's just Mayor Folayemi, but why should the entry to study education be 100? 100 over 400? Why should somebody go and sit JAM and the entrance requirement for them to get into the top education college is 100? You're already saying that education is for the dregs. You're saying it's for people at the bottom. We need to change that, number one. We need to up it. We need to up it to the standard of medicine, of engineering, of architecture, so that people who go study education are passionate people. I don't mind if you don't pay me in education. I would do it. It's innate. It's innate. It's what I do.
Because
And
But
the
honestly, I
teachers, I'm
think-
passionate about it.
I think the challenge is, as I'm listening
And
to
this
you,
would
I think that
help
it's the
with
degradation.
unemployment.
You know, our society has decayed to a certain level right now that poverty is a big, massive issue.
Oh, yeah.
People are no
Oh,
longer
yeah,
making
that's it.
decisions based on what they feel, what their passions are. They're merely making decisions on how they can eat. We currently live in a stomach infrastructure. So
Yeah.
the question is, with everything that we've understood, with everything that we know, how do we change the current system? How do we affect change? Because I understand the educational system has a massive issue. We know that. I mean, especially here in Lagos, if you look at the numbers, the same JAM that you're talking about, the JAM figures for Lagos are atrocious, especially compared to other bigger states that don't necessarily generate 30 billion naira a month. So clearly there's an issue. And then you also have, when you talk about poverty and you talk about living in stomach infrastructure, you have a system where grades are being bought and sold.
Of course.
You have a system where grades are being bought and sold not just for money, but also for sexual favors. So
Yes.
the question is, when do we draw a line and say that, okay, this is enough, we can't function like this. This isn't possible because Nigeria, the way it stands right now, it is not a functioning society. As we can see, everything is correlated. The education system needs help, therefore the unemployment rate is extremely high.
Yes.
So you want to jump on that?
So
With
you're a
this-
recruitment expert.
Yes.
What have you identified that would be able to help people who are currently looking for work get this work?
Move away from tertiary education. Stop pursuing that forever.
So what should
Get
they be pursuing?
vocational skills. Get vocational skills. Learn a trade. And if you're going to learn a trade, learn it very well. So for instance, if you're going to be a fashion designer, a tailor, learn to measure. There's some prerequisites. Follow those prerequisites. So if you're measuring, learn how to measure. So if you're sewing a dress for someone like me who's a size 18...
Looking
UK
great in a size 18.
Thank you. For someone, you know, you need to be able to actually make it fit me. And the way to make it fit me is to understand measurements. And this is where basic skills like mathematics and English language...
And comprehension.
Yes, comes in. So it's not the degree. That's why we have people failing. So poverty, you're talking about poverty. There's poverty everywhere. But I'll tell you something. There's poverty not only in Nigeria. There's poverty in England, everywhere in the
but
world.
we can't really
there
compare
is
the poverty levels of the Western world here to Nigeria.
No, I think you can.
I'm
think
not sure
you
if
can.
I
The
agree
cost
with
of
you.
living, the cost of living in Nigeria is not as high as the cost of living abroad.
It isn't.
Have 1 square meal a day. But what I'm trying to say is you could be doing better by the quality of the service that you offer. So if you want employment, offer better, offer better
offer
service.
better. Offer more value.
better. If you want income, set up a small business, but offer better.
So what you're saying is, we should start changing our mindset.
Yes.
This is a big box. The normal mindset of an average Nigerian. get out of university, get a job.
Yep.
The white-collar job is a farce. It doesn't exist any longer.
Yes, it doesn't.
The suit and tie job doesn't exist any longer.
It doesn't.
So it has to be vocational skill. But how many of these vocational positions are available for 23%?
Many.
That will go to
23.1.
33% very soon.
Many. A lot of positions. Because you see, coming to Nigeria, for instance, this is like a new ground.
Yes.
So much opportunities.
The informal sector is
So
booming.
much. It's so huge. Unlike England, where it's exhausted.
Yes.
Everything is done. In Nigeria, there's so much opportunities. So you carve out a space for yourself and be excellent in it. If you're delivering service, excellent service delivery. If it's a product, be excellent about it. I think that's the important thing. So learn all the right skills to ensure that you deliver excellence. So mediocrity, we don't want it anymore.
I'm gonna
It
keep
doesn't
clapping for
work.
you.
It doesn't work. Let's not have that anymore. I
Why
think
do
that's
we
our
celebrate
challenge.
mediocrity as a
God.
community? Can we actually understand that? Why do we celebrate mediocrity?
I don't know why we do. I don't know why we even encourage it or even allow it. We should not allow it, and we should emphatically say no to such. But our youths out there, there's so much you could do. Yeah. There's so much opportunity. And it's not an opportunity of going to London or going to Japan. It's here in Lagos. Why do you think we're here? Why do you think we're back home here in Nigeria?
Because you used to be in the diaspora for so many years.
I run a company called 4CRT in England, and we recruited for many healthcare local authorities.
Yeah.
And I'm here because there's so much opportunity, and I'm taking charge of those opportunities. And
But
I say,
some people would
please
say
do.
that you've had a higher standard of education, a higher standard of living, so therefore you're able to identify the opportunities in front of you.
No, I have many people who have also come back, diasporans who have come back, and are sitting down and doing absolutely nothing.
Well, I won't argue with you there. I mean, that is fair. I do have to say you're actually very right, because when I was 15 years old, my history teacher, I still remember Mr. Jones, he said to every single one of us, you guys are preparing for your GCSEs.
Yes.
The advice I would give you is that as opposed to going to university, forget all this, oh, you want to go to Oxford, you want to go to Cambridge, find a trade.
Yes.
Find a trade and be extremely great at it. And I remember looking at him saying, I'm Nigerian, you're telling me that I should not go and study law. That I should go home and tell Chifa Chichape that I'm going to go and do plumbing. He said yes. And you know what the funniest thing is? All the young men and women who left school at 16, who went on to go and do apprenticeships, who became plumbers, and all those kind of things.
They're making so much.
We saw them driving in their Range Rover while they're trying to read book. They're doing so well.
And the other thing I would like to say, I'm thankful for this opportunity. The other thing I would like to say to the Nigerian youth is, please don't be lazy. Please do get up. I woke up 4 a.m. this morning. I went all the way to Ikeja Airport. I had to pick some of our clients that were coming in from England, Sidcott School. But I have to tell you that if you were lazy, you were not going to get a lot of things. And don't think when you see us all decked up, dressed like this, that we just, lay down and wait for somebody to take us. No, we work hard at it. Put in the hours. And you will succeed.
Motivation, that is what I'm seeing as I'm listening to you. It's a lack of motivation. How do we motivate them, Rafai? How do we motivate the youth?
I mean, most importantly, throwing the question to you, how do we motivate them? But something just popped in my mind.
Yes.
Like Martin Luther King said.
Oh, you go.
He said, if you are going to be a sweeper, be that person that swept the street the best. If you're going to be a trumpeter, be that person that blew that trumpet the best. If you're going to be a tailor, be that person that made the best measurement. But most importantly, be the best. The question is, how do you become the best in a society that doesn't want the best?
I know that it may seem like Nigerian society doesn't want the best, but that's not true. We want the best. We are crying out. The whole of Nigeria is crying out for the best. Forget what is going on outside in political arenas and things that don't actually help us. But Nigeria does deserve the best. And we are Nigerians. We can give the best. And I'm just saying out there to every single Nigerian that there is a lot in you that you can give. The figures of unemployment may seem quite high, and I think one of the major reasons is because employers are not finding who they want to give these jobs to. Employers are fed up of looking at thousands and thousands of CVs. And they meet somebody around the corner for a few seconds and have a chat with them, and they determine, wow, that's an excellent person. We'll recruit that person. It's not because the person has a better education than you, it's because they're able to present themselves better. So I'm telling all Nigerians out there, brush up yourself, increase your knowledge, increase in knowledge, increase in understanding. Look outside the box. Look outside the box. Be creative in what you do and deliver excellence. I think that is important.
So, but looking at me now, talking to me, how about a lot of young Nigerians that have tried, you know?
Are you sure they tried?
No, that have tried, but it's not just panned out. Take, for instance, you said excellence. I was a beneficiary of that excellence. I got my first job in media here because I met somebody that believed in me.
Okay.
Not so many people in Nigeria will have that opportunity to be at a hotel sitting with a Newton Jibuna that in turn introduced me to a couple of people. Not everybody will have the opportunity.
Okay.
So what about young Nigerians that he might be in Ajegunle, Olodia Papa, or some other area of Lagos that doesn't even have the opportunity to meet that same person, but he has an excellent spirit and his CV is being tossed around. What do you tell them?
What we tell them is, and I have to bring you to First CRT Management Services, because we run what we call an employability services for young people. And you have to be between the age of 18 to 35. And you can attend, it's free. It's free of charge. We do not charge for this. You come to the workshops, and what we do is we match you with employers.
Oh.
You come for the workshop. The workshop is normally 5 days. We do your CV review. We look at the skills that you have. We talk to you about possible placements, and we put you with an employer. And you are with that employer for 6 months. He pays you about 35,000 every month to cover transportation and feeding, but you learn on the job. You glean on the job. So the last time we did such training, we had over 40,000 people register, young people register. It doesn't matter to me if you live in Olodia Papa, if you live in Ajegunle, if you live in Ikota, if you live anywhere. As far as you are ready and you want to, then send us your CV, come for our workshops. We will put you with an employer.
Can we have the details again, please?
Yes. So it's www.firstcrtgroup.com. And on there, you will find out about the employability, skills, and mindset reorientation program.
I have to say,
it's for 18 to 35-year-olds.
You have come across as a little bit harsh in some ways, but I've understood while speaking to you that it's not that you're passionate. You've seen a lot on your journey as a recruiter, and you've just understood that really and truly, as Nigerian youths and people looking for work, we have to present our best foot forward. So in addition to that, can you please tell me what is your top tip for young people, especially when looking for work? I mean, you have said brush up on your skills. You've said make sure you have your hard and soft skills. But what is the one secret weapon that you can help us? Because you're big time. We brought you in here to help our listeners. So what's your top tip for anyone looking for work right now that has already brushed up on their skills? You know, soft and hard skills, excellent. Has everything they need. Resume, amazing. Still not getting what they need to get. What is the top tip for them, please?
Communication skills. So effective communication. Don't forget, from the moment you pick up the phone and call the employer, they're assessing you.
Thank you so much for that.
That is extremely
short and simple.
Thank you.
You know what? Simon Beckett said something very profound. He said, ever tried, ever failed, don't matter. Try again, fail better. The essence of this conversation this morning is to be able to help you feel better and try again so that you'll never fail again. It's been a great morning with you.
You know, Mercy Ajishafa once said that Rufai seems to have an abundance of quotes just in his head, waiting for the right time to unleash it. Poor blimey, I have to say this is somebody that definitely utilised the education system. Definitely, Rufai. It's always a pleasure. I do love intelligent women. And most importantly, we have to thank Mrs. Folayemi Olaitan. It was an absolute pleasure. We learned so much. And it is a pleasure to see a strong, intelligent, passionate woman doing amazing things here in Nigeria. Honestly, thank you. On behalf of all of us, I love it. I do. Well, it's been a great show. I've had a great time. We've learned about health. We've learned about employment. We've learned about recruitment. We've learned, most importantly, Rufai, we've learned about love. We've learned how important it is to love your brother and help them and bring amazing people on the show.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolutely amazing show from our entire team here in Lagos. Enjoy the rest of the morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Your name is?
Rufai Oseni.
And I'm Mercy Ajishafe. It's been a pleasure.